Hello. In today's video we're going to go through Power Automate. It was called Flow, Microsoft Flow, until they brought it into the Power Suite effectively with Power BI, Power Apps and Power Automate. So if you see references to Flow anywhere, that is effectively where it is. So you can see where I hover over the tab that I have United Kingdom.flow.microsoft. So you'll see some references to Flow, but it's now called Power Automate because it's within the Power Platform. Here I have open my Business Central, and here I have open my Microsoft Power Automate. I'm logged in, so I'm in the same environment as I am with my Business Manager Business Central login. I have a flow that I created before, and it's a simple one. When a record is changed, send me an email. We can look at that. It's using a Gmail, in fact, to send to my Outlook account within this particular demo setup. If I take a quick look at this, I can take a quick look and preview it. If we go and have a quick look, it looks at my environment name, which is production, a particular company name, but if I've got multiple companies I can set it up for different companies, and then a particular table. And then what I said was, in another step, please just send an email. So today what we're going to show you is how to very quickly set up a new automate function. Now with Business Central, a lot of things come standard out the box, and you do have within the system the ability to set up workflows. So in here we've got some workflows that come as part and parcel of the system, and if I click on new, I can click on new workflow from a template, hence why it was called flow before, because it was a workflow. And you can see here all of these approval requests and sales documents and credit memo checks and blanket purchase order approval workflows. So lots and lots of different workflows within your Business Central system, and Flow is interconnected with that particular function. However, it is a separate product within itself that can be used to integrate with lots of other things. So don't get confused with the workflows that are within Business Central and what was called Flow, and does still retain some terminology of Flow, but what is Power Automate within this particular system, because Power Automate can link with lots and lots of different products, and I'll show you through some of those when we go through creating a new one. So if we go to home, if I leave that particular page, we've got here all sorts of templates that have been created by Microsoft. But more importantly, if we look down here at the popular services, you can see the integrations now with SharePoint, OneDrive. So if I want to read files or read an Excel spreadsheet that we might be keeping in a OneDrive, so we've got Excel here. We could be just looking at Excel online, but this OneDrive might be an Excel sheet that we've created. And I could go through, look, all 305 of them. I'm not going to go through all 305 of them, but we can look at calendars, but SQL, very important, and lots of other things. So notifications, looking all the way through here, Gmail, Trello, Google Drive. So it's not just restricted to OneDrive, you've got Google Drive, as you can see, Business Central that we've got access to, and lots of them. As I say, I'm not going to point out all of them, but you can see from this list it is very comprehensive. So what does that enable us to do? Well, in effect what it enables us to do is look at anything that's created within those environments and do something with it. So it may be a new customer. We sign up and you could put out a Twitter account that says welcome new customer to our company. It could be something as simple as that. It's fully automated. It could be you generate an email. It could be you generate notifications. It could be that you're bringing information from Excel and creating a report, somehow pushing data to and from based around your particular criteria. But what we're going to do today is we're going to build something very, very simple. We're not going to go in and use the AI builder, which does help very significantly. We're also not going to specifically build an entity from here. We're going to look at the connections that we do have. So if we look here, these are some that I've created before. My common data service that I have a connection to, my Business Central, and I've got notifications, my Gmail account that I have, and Office 365 Outlook as well. So if I want to go and create a workflow, we can create different types of flows. We've got an instant flow, so we can trigger it manually, as it says here, automated, scheduled times, and a business process flow. Again, down here we have lots of different templates, approvals, calendar types, data collection, email types as well. So you can take some of these and build out from them. So in effect, if something is fairly close, you can remove steps and add steps in, and it makes life a little bit easier. But we're not going to do that. We're going to build from scratch, and we're going to create a name for this, and we're going to generate a particular solution called sales order creation. And we can look at the triggers that I want to be used. So we can search these. We can look at the flow triggers that we happen to have. So if I look at Business Central, and we look at this one specifically when a record is created. So I'm going to say, great, let me have a look at that. And the first thing it asks me within that particular record is created is what environment. Now it's automatically gone to my production. The reason it chooses production, you can also have a sandbox, but we're using a production screen at the moment. I'm going to use my company, and I'm going to go and choose the table. So when a record is created within a particular table, then we're going to have a look at it. So now I'm looking at sales orders. Could look at sales quotes, but no, sales orders. So when this record is created in sales orders, do something. So we're going to create a new step, and it says, well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to do something down here. It could be an action, could be a trigger, could update, send a mail notification, whatever it happens to be. Send me a mobile notification. Create a task. Lots of things here. I'm not going to scroll again through all of them, but I'm going to use my Gmail connection again. And I can say here, okay, send an email using Gmail. I can send it to who I want to send it to, and it can give me a list of suggested people. I can add dynamic content in here, or I can send it to myself, and I can use my email account that I have within the system and send it to myself. So I'm going to, just for simplicity, put my own email address in. You can see it gets it. Subject, again, this can be dynamic content, but I'm going to say sales order created. And again, in the body, we can put dynamic content again, or we can put expressions in there, whatever it happens to be. Again, it helps you decide what you may want to put in there. So you can put actions, triggers, whatever it happens to be, or dynamic content. But the body, I'm just, again, for simplicity, sales order created. And I'm going to put a time as well. I'm going to put nothing else. I'm going to save that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check. No errors. That's nice. We'll save it. We can also test it. So what we've got here is the ability to go and create that trigger action and save and test. So what we're going to do now is we've said, yep, let's go and test that. So the best thing that we can do is go into our system and go and create a new sales order. Whilst we're doing that, we'll go and open our Outlook, because we need to have Outlook open so that we can receive that. Let's go and create a new sales order. So we create a new order. Just put some details, some items in here. So just choose something. Just check the price. That's all good. And I'm going to release that order, but I'm not going to post it. So we've created ourselves a new order. If we go and have a look here, we'll see it performing the test. So once that trigger action has happened, it will test it. And you can see here that it said it's run successfully, which is great. So we go and check our email. We can see here we have an order created. And if you remember, when I set it up, all I wanted it to say was sales order created and the UTC date and time as it was. Now I can customize that and have a lot more in the body of the email, but for demonstration purposes I literally put in just the UTC time, which you can see is the same time as the email creation. So now that's actually set up, I've got that set and I've run a test on it. We can see I've done one previously, and here's another one. So any new order that I set up now will just run through and trigger automatically. I don't need to use that test or to trigger it. Any new order that goes into the system, again, so we start typing school, new order. Once it's some of these chairs, I have 2 of those to go with the desks that I had earlier. Again, we'll release that sales order. We now have a new sales order. When we look in here, we can see the runs, all of them. These 2 were tests that I ran, but this effectively runs as something is posted, not literally immediately. It takes a minute or 2 to run, but once it does run, you can see there I've just done a refresh. It ran 7 seconds ago, and here we go. Here's my order that I created. So I hope that that's giving you a very, very brief look at what Power Automate can be used for. I've used a very simple example. All I've done is said, if a new order is created, send me an email saying sales order created and the time it was created. Well, you can add a lot more dynamic content to that, who created the order, what the value of that order is, what the items in that order are. And it's not necessarily an approvals workflow, which you can get the approvals workflow for that set up, as I showed you earlier, within workflows. So that would be an approval workflow. We're just talking about, I want to know if something happened. Now I could set that up against a vendor detail, and if somebody changes the bank account details in a vendor, that would be a very good example of something that could be set up. So again, a simple email would be sent. You could set that up as an approval workflow. You may not want to approve things like that, but Power Automate in a very basic out-of-the-box setup. I've got a number of flows. When a record is changed, that happens to be a customer, but when a creation of a sales order or a sales order update. So you can see in here that even from a very simple perspective, Flow, or as it's called, Power Automate, is a very powerful tool. Thanks again for listening. I hope that's been useful.